Hey y'all, it took me a while. It took a while to get me here, so I'm gonna take my time. I wanted to talk today about oh yeah, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you may be seeing this. I'm jumping right into it for several different reasons. Anyway, I wanted to talk about seeing people through the eyes of the Lord. He has given me several personal revelations. I'm gonna just keep it real and raw and uncut like I do. I find myself, I tell you guys a lot about me being a lone wolf, and that you won't really see me hanging out with a lot of people, spend a lot of time with a lot of people, like not even when it comes to a church setting, which, I told you guys that I don't go to a physical church. I have been going. There's a church that God called me to last year, like mid last year, like coming up in a couple of months, it'll be a year ago that God told me to go to this church, and I just started going. But anyway, even in a church setting, I don't really, mingle with a lot of people because I have been hurt a lot in my past. My kindness is, which now is like it's foreign to people. Like people look at me funny because of how I am, because of how kind and loving and authentic I am, and quick to apologize and to make things right with people and things like that. It is a foreign way of being nowadays. So for that very reason, I'm very guarded. And because I don't, very seldom is, my love, my authenticity, my being genuine, my loyalty, just the way that I am with people is very seldom reciprocated. So I have my guard up a lot. And psychologists will call that hypervigilance, where you're extra vigilant about your energy, extra vigilant about your emotions. And the Bible does say, above all else, guard your heart, but not in the way that I have been doing it. The way that I have been doing it was really just looking at a person, seeing something that looks familiar, and equating them to whatever that familiar experience was. Say that there's somebody who, I heard them, whispering about somebody else. So now they're automatically that one person in my past, whether that was high school or another experience that I had, or a family member or an old friend or an old acquaintance, or, whatever the case may be. Once I hear them whispering about this person in my mind, they're automatically that type. And that was not only was that not fair, but it also is no longer serving me in this season. And I constantly pray for God to search my heart. I constantly pray for God to show me, things through his eyes. And Victoria Orenzi has a song called Spiritual Surgery. And, I'm not sure if any of you have heard it, but she says, pierce through me, cut through me, open me up, do your surgical work in me until I see like you see. Pierce through me, God, pierce through me, cut through me, open me up, do your surgical work in me till I see like you see. So what the Lord has been showing me is, a lot of people are doing the same thing that I'm doing. They're being extra guarded. So where it looks like a person is, like being rude to me, or where it looks like a person is just, we make eye contact and they hurry up and look away and things like that, is because they're afraid of becoming acquainted with me for the same reason that, in a way, as much as I don't claim fear and things like that, it is a form of fear that I'm also afraid to become acquainted with people with the fear that they're going to hurt me the same way that other people have hurt me. But what God has showed me, like, oh my gosh, y'all, and it is also the depth of what God has shown me about specific people, like specific things with specific people, has been like almost heartbreaking. Like it kind of hurts my feelings to know that somebody who I was looking at through the lens of my trauma and looking at them like a bad person, that the reason why they act that way is because of hurt that they have experienced, and that they're afraid of being hurt, being afraid of those wounds being open, or that scab being peeled from something that they may or may not have healed from. This is not about healing, though. This is about seeing people through God's eyes, and for God to show me, this person is responding essentially the same way that you do. You may not, I'm not a rude person. I'm not a mean person. I'll say kind things and I'll smile and all of those things. But underneath the surface, I'm guarding myself. I'm not allowing myself to get close to people, because you're not, you don't get to get that close to me, because whenever I let somebody close to me, I get hurt. So it is about healing, but it's healing on my part, right? And my healing, I can impart that healing on another person once I embrace said healing. Once I embrace that, as much as I would like to continue to guard myself, as much as I would like to, I've also been simultaneously praying for good friends, and praying for people that I can share the gospel with, and praying with people that I can inspire, and praying for people, you know what I mean? Things like that. So, I wrote down, see people through God's eyes. Many are on the defense, just like you. Many can be won over with peace and the gospel. There was a comment that I responded to on something that I posted, and they were talking about how almost like the gospel is lost in the world, and that's what we're here for. That is one of the pieces to the armor of God. We have our helmet of salvation, our breastplate of righteousness, our belt of truth, the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, and then we have the shoes prepared with the gospel of peace. We're prepared to walk and tell people about the gospel of peace. And God is a God of peace. Jesus is the Prince of Peace. Right? So many can be won over with that, but you have to embrace it for yourself. You cannot just go around telling people, whatever the case may be. And the only reason why this is not hard for me is the Holy Spirit. Because, man, when I tell y'all, like, deep hurt, I'm very sensitive, and a lot of people would never guess that about me. Why? Because I don't show them. Why would I show you that so that you could use it against me? No. But people need to see that, and people need to understand that. In order for some of these things that are done, and a lot of it is done through social media, in order for a lot of these things to be undone, we, the children of God, y'all hear that confirmation?